You just have to be, like somebody else, somebody who's like can stay calm when everyone else like bringing the cost like to you. Like you cannot like use that environment and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Can't believe that happened. But I think it grows to the point where there are too many agencies, right? And people eventually get burned out by those agencies. It's funny enough because now I think we're at the point where a lot of agencies are running out of businesses, even though the demand is still there.
All right, welcome everybody. Today's Agencies podcast, Agencies Breakthrough podcast, with nothing else that Mr. Wesley Huang. Like, I'm really super excited about this one because we know each other from Agency Velocity, and Wesley has been like a shining star, right? Everybody was looking up to him. I think you 10x your revenue in 1 year or something like that, right? So I'm really excited that you're here because I think it's super valuable for the people. And yeah, maybe you say a little bit something about you, and then we get into it.
Happy to be here. And thank you. Appreciate the introduction as well. It is my pleasure to be surrounded by a lot of just like killers in the agency velocity group in general. But yeah, everyone, my name is Wesley. I am a co-founder at an agency called Cymate. So we do primarily cold outreach, primarily cold email and cold LinkedIn. I am currently also run a couple other business ventures as well. One of them being the COO of a company called Agency Workplaces, where we recognize other agency for just having good cultures and have, like agency who might need help with cultures, how to build a workplace where everybody wake up and just happy to be surrounded by the people that they work with, Other than that, I started my career as a software engineer actually. So did a lot of coding a few years ago since I started college in 2015 and then graduated 2018. Started my career in 2017 as a software engineer at a company called Experian. Then moved to Apple. I worked with the Face ID team, and then I moved to Twitter and then Cisco. And there, I think that's when I had my own startup, and that's when I first got the exposure with like marketing and just cold outbound in general. And after that, we just start Cymate and kick off since then.
Wow, so you had a great corporate career before with like working for amazing companies.
I back then, I got that, like shiny object syndrome when I was like, I want to go after the big boys. I want to be at the big corporates, the big leagues, so.
Wow, interesting. I mean, especially Apple. How was it working for Apple?
There's a lot of smart people there. I think that's
imagine, right?
like I don't know. Like I felt I don't know. Like I knew I was smart, right? Being like back when I was in college, I was very confident in my skill. I was like, man, I'm such a good engineer and all this kind of stuff. But when I joined Apple, it humbled me in the best possible way, right? But I do have a very, very nice team. I love working with my manager. Even manager back there, he was like 27 or something like that. And I was like, damn, like he's so young already. He was very smart, but it was a good experience. Yeah.
Nice, man. You worked for the best ones, man. You worked for Apple, then for Twitter. Twitter went already Moscated? No, before.
You know what? That was a very interesting time because I joined during the acquisition.
Really?
So, oh yeah. No, I joined when they were doing some organization restructuring. The leadership team was like moving teams around. And then, so I joined and there was literally like no work for me to do. And I was like, what the heck, right? And then right after that was the whole acquisition happened. And it was kind of funny because I didn't even have a manager for like 3 months, man. Like, I was under supervision of nobody. I had to go talk to my director like, hey, what do I do? Who do I talk to? They're just like, I don't know, man. Even I don't know.
So funny, man.
Anyway, it was a mess, but I had a lot of time to do a lot of stuff on the side, so I'm not complaining.
This was also when you got the plans basically to go into online business. What is this, approximately the same time, or?
Yep, that was the plan where
because you had so much free time, you didn't know what to do. It was like, what do I do?
Exactly. It was fun because I kind of tap a bit into like drop shipping. Because when I was on Twitter, I work in the advertisement team. So that's when I got an exposure to like, oh, this is how you run ads and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, let me give it a shot. Let me look up some like drop shipping course and see what that looks like and give it a shot.
Okay. And then you did drop shipping, and then you tried also other business models, or?
Yeah, I mean, I say I tried it, but it was 3 weeks and I was like, this is not for me. And then yeah, I think that was the point where I wanted to start like my own startup. So I went into it, learned the ins and outs, and then eventually partnered with a buddy. And then, yeah, we built, it's still in the App Store actually. We built like a software. Don't know if I could say much here, but we built like a software, I think DoorDash, but for farmers markets, right? So to like all those like small local businesses to like do drop off delivery, things like that.
I mean, you're a real creator, right? You love creating things, do you?
You know what's funny is I honestly think I am a creative person.
Yeah.
When I was in middle school, I was in band, so I play I play an instrument, and actually was what they call like first chair, second chair, which is like like the top player. So I was first chair the entire school district. So I think that was when I was like, man, I think I'm a creative person. And when I went to college, I actually joined a dance team and eventually become the creative director of the dance team. And then
Wow.
compete in like multiple like national competitions. So I think I've always been like a creative person, but somehow I was also very good at math. I sort of recognized that was my gift, right? My gift was I was sort of like excel at the creative side of things, and I was also excel at the logistics side of things as well, right? So I was like, that's something I really gotta double down on as I move forward to my career.
So many talents, Wesley. It's unbelievable. I mean, you guys, you need to know it's the first time that I really talk about these things with Wesley, and I'm quite impressed, to be honest. But it also shows why you're so good at what you're doing, right? Because, I mean, there's a lot of talents, and I love it, man. This is so great to hear. Okay, and like, after trying all these different kind of businesses, what made you then stay stuck with the agency business? What was it that was like, okay, that's the thing that I really want to do properly now?
Good question. I think, well, to be fair, let's see, we started the agency around end of 2022, but I usually like to tell people 2023 because we start like November, December. So give or take, it's only been up to this point like 3 years, right? And it went through a lot of pivot actually. Because when we first started the agency, it was a QA development agency. Yeah, and then eventually we pivot to like a lead generation / cold outbound. But I like the model in the sense that it kind of forces you to learn about business, right? It's a very high cash flow type of model. So you can grow, I would say, very quickly. Like you're not so dependent on the development team. You're not so dependent on, like a lot of other factors. It's just about skill, marketing, sales, building a team, and then just repeat the habit loop, right? Yeah, and it really forces you because like I mean, I know that a lot of agencies that got funded, like a very small amount, but I would say like 80 to 90% of agencies out there are bootstrap, right? You just have to learn things from scratch. If it crash and burn, it's not a lot of incident where people can go out there and get the investor to save companies, right? You just have to save it yourself, right? So that was something that very attracted to me, right? I was like, oh, like I get to learn the in and outs of the business. Yeah, and eventually I think it does work out, right? I learned how to market ourselves. I learned how sales work, building a sales process, leading a team, hiring a team, and even building like a leadership team that helped me run like the day-to-day operations too. Yeah, it's been kind of stuck with me for the past 3 years, and now I'm using essentially all the profit in the agency to fund my other ventures, right? So that's like the whole business model that I'm trying to run.
Super interesting. And if you look back, because it's always an interesting question, right? You started 3 years ago. What would you say changed since then?
What did I say changed since then? Oh, wow. I mean, a lot of things changed.
Yeah, I know, right?
So I had to think for a second because I was like, let me give you maybe like what changed the most or something that I excited that found to change the most. It's gonna sound cliche, but I think what changed the most is like it forced you to become the person that you want to be. In the sense that things change all the time. Like our sales process changed, the people in the team changed, right? Leadership team changed, right? But I think just being the person who's like diving into like chaos every day, just like stress management and how to manage that between business and your personal life. Yeah, I think that's like something that I I guess like the most when it comes to like changes around me.
So basically, how it shapes you in the person that you want to be. Interesting. I love that.
Exactly.
That's great.
Like,
Okay.
you just have to be, like somebody else, somebody who's like can stay calm when everyone else like bringing the cost like to you. Like you cannot use that environment and be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, can't believe that happened. But just come on, move. Look, take a deep breath. All right, let's see how can we figure it out together.
So it sharpens the iron, Wesley.
Yeah, basically.
Great, man. Fire. And what would you say, how has the industry changed as well since you started?
Oh, how has the industry changed? A lot, to be honest. And so I think back then, I think everyone, right? If you do cold email, cold outreach back in like 2022, 2023, I think that was when cold email became automated in a sense, like that's, I think like Smartly, Instantly, and some of those tools start to come out. And deliverability wasn't an issue. You could
Not at all.
you could really get away with just like write a really bad message and you just blast it out to like everybody on earth, and you would get 50% reply rate was by to you, right? And you get a bunch of sales coming in. But I think things changed a lot since then. It's harder to get in the inbox, so it become a lot more technical. You would have to you can get away with like not doing like like personalized email, but you kind of have to at this point just to make sure that every email you send out are different to personalize it, right? A lot of agencies are flooding into the space, good and bad, I would say. Shout out to Agency Velocity. I think all those guys are agencies. But I think in the sense that the competitors is because I think it grows to the point where there are too many agencies, right? And people eventually get burned out by those agencies. It's funny enough because now I think we're at the point where a lot of agencies are running out of businesses. Even though the demand is still there. Don't get me wrong. Like I still think there's a huge demand out there from like our marketing side. I'm talking to like some other like huge agency as well, and they still have demands, right? I think all these like OG agency that like I started together with, they start growing. There's a lot of problems coming in and out, right? Running a business is not about just sales and retention, right? It's about people. It's about like all the other stuff, profit. They eventually ran out of business. So I think right now I can only count like a handful of agencies that I'm like, you guys are still around since 2021, past 5 years, but kind of sad actually. Because I know those guys are very, very, very good at cold email, right? I'm just kind of interested to see like the new quote unquote generation of agencies are coming up and see how they are able to bring in all these new technologies and just challenge even like ourselves to get better in general.
I believe, honestly, thinking back, obviously, because we have been both in agency with us in this time. You remember there was like this almost Wild West golden age where we just like the wind channel exploding that up, like, I don't see it anymore like this, right? It's not anymore that easy to scale an agency so fast. It was in these times, right?
It's not, man. It's not. Like I'll tell you a personal story in our agency as well. There was some point where like last year where we look at our profit margin and we were like, we're doing like very healthy margin, right? We were doing, I think 40 to like 50 net profit margin, which is very solid given the fact that where we were. But now we look back and what like literally like last month, we look at the balance sheet and we were like, damn, where does all the profit go? The more you scale, the margin is going to shrink. And, like if you don't have a good like accounting system, you don't have a good finance system, like if you don't pay attention to like your spending, it could really hurt you.
So do you believe, obviously, this is something that I also see when people are scaling up. I believe that when you really scale up, the most important thing are really ops.
100%. I mean, there's a lot of things around, right? If I had to, well, you know what? Scratch that. If I have to basically rank like what is like the most important things to at least, I'll give you the top 3, right? I think the first thing is people. In the agency space, maybe in the future you could, but like like don't expect to run it like a software companies, right? Like for software company, any kind of like product company, really, you could have like a team of 5, a team of 10. You can scale that to now like 8 figures, right? Agency is a very, very like people like headcount type business. You need people in a team, right? And the more talents you bring in, the more you can charge, right? And obviously, you cannot be the person who, when you scale, you cannot be the person who do all the fulfillment and try to grow the business in general, grow your brand, right? So you want to bring in good talents that can help you take care of that, right? In order to bring in good talents, obviously to take care of their pay, you have to take care of their personal life, you have to take care of everything around them. So I think people is like one of the most important things when it comes to running an agency. And then obviously ops comes second, right? Just having good system all around it is very important, right? Like sales and marketing, fulfillment ops, but also what I mentioned earlier as well, accounting system, like hiring system, like just like microsystem throughout the entire business as well. So I think that's also important. And then last but not least is sales and marketing,
Yeah, thanks for sharing this. Okay, what would you say, Wesley? When is the time to hire A players?
When is the time to hire?
So let's say you're going up to 10K. Well, what would we say? When is the time to hire A players?
When is the time to hire? You should hire since day one. Right? Like that's 100%. Depending on the role like that you want to hire, and I try to follow I forgot like the actual terminology by Dan Mattel. It's like a hiring ladder. So I think it goes from hiring like an admin role first, right? So this is your personal assistant, right? Ops person, someone who works alongside you, someone who can like execute your ideas and things like that, right? If you don't have co-founders, or even if you have a co-founder, this person could help you out with maybe like managing your inbox and all that kind of stuff. So once you have the admin role, figure it out, you go up a ladder, which is the fulfillment team. So essentially, you're gonna have to like do all the fulfillment yourself, right? And then once you know how it works, you build a system first before you hire the person. I think hiring without a system is a recipe for disaster, to be honest. And we try doing that. Like we try like hiring like really, really talented people in the past, right? And we just like, because you're so good, I think you're better than me in fulfillment, so I'm just gonna let you do whatever the heck you want, right? And it did not turn out well.
Interesting.
Right? So one thing that I'd always tell like agency who are coming up is you want to build a system so that you yourself can fulfill like, I don't know, like the maximum of customer that you could. Maybe 5, maybe 10, whatever the number is, right? For me, it was around 6, 7, or like 8 people, only clients. Once you have a system that you yourself can do all of that, and then you just 5 people to like plug into the system, right? And then you slowly improve the process from there to help them optimize the process, optimize the system so that they can fulfill maybe like more customers, or they can put in more quality of the work for each customer, right? So yeah, go from admin to fulfillment, but have the ops in place first before you hire. Think after that is going to be marketing. So someone who can like in charge of your marketing. So that's the third placement. The fourth one is sales, right? So after you outsource admin, you outsource fulfillment, you outsource marketing, and then sales. And then last but not least, the final level is leadership. This is when you build a leadership team that help you run the day-to-day operation. Right? So I think this is where we are at right now.
Interesting one. I think super valuable for people watching, because a lot of people, they don't really know what they're doing, right? This is what I see everywhere out there. They're like, yeah, maybe hire this, maybe hire that, maybe hire nothing. People doing 30K and just doing stuff fulfillment. And it's crazy what I see out there. Let's be real. What's your opinion on that?
Sure, for sure. I mean, like on the flip side as well, right? On the flip side, like you really have to like do the fulfillment and know the ins and outs about like the service that you're providing, right? I think like a lot of the guys, what they're doing wrong is like they hire people who are better than them, and they expect that person to figure it out, right? And basically you run into a situation where, your entire fulfillment backend rely on that person, right? What happened if that person leaves, right? What happened if maybe they just want to go on PTO for like a month, right? They have a baby, they have kids, whatever it might be, right? And then you at least need to make sure that you know how, like the ins and outs of fulfillment to be able to like perhaps like hire another person, right? Or you can do it yourself, right? Yeah, I talk to a lot of guys, and one thing that they always tell me is like, oh man, like Wesley, you know so much about business and you also know so much about cold email, and you're like, yeah, you're just gonna have to. And like, don't like you want to build a good agency, like that's the work it's gonna take, like you there's no shortcut, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they have to be in the trenches, 100%. But like this is, I'm 100% with you. And I believe until you're on 10, 15K or something like this, like you say, 5, 6 clients, you have to do a big thing by yourself. That's for sure. But then also a little bit the danger, then you don't see the point where it's time to hire. That's sometimes what I see as well. Then you get overwhelmed, do everything by yourself and almost start to hate your business, right? That's also very common. But it's at least what I see. I don't know what you see, but that's what I see.
Yeah, 100%. You know what? One of the mistakes I see a lot too is you need to hire people so that you can move on to the next thing, not so you can, fuck off and do whatever you should. I think that's what I don't see that a lot, to be honest, but just be very careful of that. You need to hire people so that you can maybe focus on building your brand, building the sales process, building your marketing team, not so that you can go on vacations and just sit there collecting a check every single month,
Yeah, interesting. That's what you just said also about becoming visible and building your brand. How important do you think is it to build a brand? Because that's also something that I don't see a lot of people doing, right?
Yeah.
Like the big ones, yes, the ones that really make it, they are all building brands, but there's so many out there that just don't build a brand, that just don't focus on that. Why do you think it's that?
So I don't think building the brand is as important in the earlier stage, but once you start scaling up, it's going to become like literally one of the most important thing. And the thing about building a brand is that it takes time, right? It's not going to happen overnight, right? It's not going to be like, oh, hey, I want to build a brand today. Boom, next month my brand grew big. That's
Everybody knows Cymate. Ooh,
right. So I think that's the thing, right? You just have to start doing it early, right? And you're not gonna see the ROI within the first 3 months, within the first 6 months, even within maybe like the first 2 years even, right? But once the time comes when branding comes into place, I think that's when like it's gonna start to hit. Like down the road, if you want to, let's say like increase your price, right? Because obviously the more people you hire, the profit margin is gonna go down, right? And literally in order to like fix that, it's to just increasing your prices, right? There's some other way that you can do it too, but for agency, most of the time it's just like raising your price, right? And if you want to raise your price, you have to have a good brand first, right? No one's gonna look into it. They're gonna be like, oh, who's this guy? Right? I don't even know who this guy. Why is he charging me? Like I don't know, 5K, 10K a month.
Makes a lot of sense. My next question is obviously about niching. Like you guys have a specific niche that you are going for. What's your specific niche and why did you choose it?
We do have a very specific niche, and I think it's also very important to like niche down to like not just like niche down in terms of your market, but niche down in terms of your service as well. Niche until you can expand, right? So yeah, I think for us, we work primarily with tech startups and software companies. Obvious reason because I was a software engineer, so which is the language is familiar with me, and even niched out in a service as well, right? We've been exploring a lot of different things for ourselves, like running ads and just like branding contents in general, but there's nowhere in the near future that we're thinking about like rolling it out to the customer. We've been sticking with one thing and one thing only, which is cold email and cold LinkedIn. It's like 2 things.
Okay. And you would recommend this also to our agencies if they really want to scale?
Absolutely. Just stick with one service, stick with one niche, and then just double down on that until when it's the right time to expand. And I think that's when you can maybe like open up like another niche. A lot of people, what they do is like they even build like a second agency that has the exact same operation, the exact same service, but just going after like a different niche. Yeah.
Interesting. So I also think, honestly, I believe when you are like a one-size-fits-all agency, scaling becomes very, very hard.
Yeah.
Because you can't really guarantee results, can you?
Yeah, exactly. And sales too, right? How I mean, I'm not good yet, so I don't want to like, I know it could work, right? But you look at other agencies who are like literally doing 8 figures, 9 figures, right? They have multiple services, right? And that might kind of trigger something in your head. Oh, I think that's what I have to do in order to get there, right? But what I'm trying to say is that's what you will have to do in the future. Just not yet. Just focus on one thing, focus on one niche. I think I heard from a mentor somewhere that I think when you get to the point of like 100K a month, even like 200, 300K a month, I think that's where you can start like branching out, adding another service, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Awesome. One question that obviously I always personally had, because I think it's amazing, because the funny story is, guys, what you need to know, I had like approximately the same, I had more revenue than you in the year before you scaled over a mil, right? It's like I had more. I think you had like 112K and I had like, I think 136K or something. I was like, bro, this guy just went to the sky. So what do you say, Wesley? What's like the most important thing that you have done that you could scale so fast?
What is the most important thing that I done that could scale so fast? Well, I appreciate a compliment, but to be honest, I've seen people who scale even faster.
Yeah, of course, you always compare yourself.
It's fun that you say that, because the first thing I thought of, a little distraction, but I was like literally yesterday, I was digging through someone's LinkedIn and they were like, yeah, we went from 0 to like 2-3 million like ARR within like the first 6 months. And I was like,
Call that Q one.
but if you're listening to this, right, just know that it's like an exceptional story. Like it doesn't happen to everybody. And the guy who scaled from 0 to 3 million ARs in 6 months, like he in the space for a while, he just worked at another agency. When he was working at another agency, he had the opportunity to build the brand for himself. So it took him maybe like 4 or 5 years to build that before he started something, right? So when you look into somebody else's journey and you're like, man, that guy scaled the agency to 3 million in 6 months, like something's wrong with me. Why can't I do that? Like just know, like he put in a lot of hard work as well. Everyone is different. Like don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 7, right?
Okay.
What helped us scale so much? Let me see. So I think obviously like operation is very important, right? Like like kind of come back to the previous idea, like is you don't have like a good system in place, especially like the backend system, like onboarding, fulfillment, management, all that kind of stuff, then it's like almost impossible to scale. Like you hire a bunch of people, it's going to become chaotic. So now you got payroll on your shoulder, and now you got clients leaving because everything's so chaotic, and sales not coming in because you're trying to put out all this fire and you haven't got a chance to do sales, right? So I would say have a very, very good system in place. And even as you scale, like people is going to be very important as well. When you hire people, like if you don't want to manage like a team, then you would have to like hire somebody to manage that team for you, right? That's why having like a co-founder system is like it really helps a lot, right? Basically, you yourself can on the front end where you can bring a new customer, do sales, do marketing, and have a co-founder and manage in the back end, right? Don't have a co-founder, and I think that's when you have to basically hire somebody who can run like the back end system for you, right? And most agencies, they call this role like an operation managers. Even your executive assistant can even like help you out with that.
Interesting. And I think also one thing, I mean, I want to obviously, this is also my topic, like, obviously like how important has been, because you also said before I needed to become the person, right? That's basically shapes me into this Ivan. So like how important has been like mindset for you on all this journey?
This probably like the most important thing, to be honest. Since day one, I worked with a co-founder, and I think since day one, I was telling him like, look, man, how's finance life, right? Like if you're in a business and you're constantly thinking about like, man, I'm struggling financially in the back end, right? I don't know how to pay the bills coming in, right? I need a lot of people relying on me for support, right? Like obviously, if you're operating in that mental capacity, it's not gonna help you grow the business, right? And as a founder, to be honest with you, like to me, literally the most important thing that I try to have every single day is clarity, right? Like I need to know, I need to have a clear goal, clear vision, clear clarity on where we want to be doing, like not like 1 year from now, 3 years from now, but also on a micro level, like this this month, today, then 2 months, I need to have all that clarity, right? And you won't have that clarity if your mind's always like running through different things, putting out fires all the time, right? It's funny because you mentioned that because I actually took your recommendation. I read this book called The Power of Now.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Tell me about it.
I can't tell you much because I'm still on chapter once. I just picked it up. I just picked it up recently. But I think for the past few years, like I always strive for clarity. I was like, man, like I know if I keep going at it, it's gonna work out in a few months, right? And I think I remember the exact conversation that I had with my co-founder as well. I think it was around like 2024, so around 2 years ago, when there was a lot of like doubt, right? When we got the agency, no one trying to buy our service. We've had like no clients coming in, and we were like, I don't know if this is gonna work out. Maybe we should do something else, right? And I was like, no, dude, like think about it. We stick it out for like 2 years, right? Just stick it out for 2 years. Like we're not idiots. Like you're smart, I'm smart, right? Everyone else, like I think we're smarter than them, right? But they make it work. Right. So if we stick it out for just 2 years, like we're gonna become like so huge. Like we're gonna be in a space for so long that we're gonna have like all this authority, right? And people is gonna like learn, they're gonna come to us trying to learn things from us, right? Just right. It will work out. Like if Cody was to die, right, tomorrow, right? Sure, we all die, right? But if it doesn't die tomorrow, then we're gonna become like a big agency. Right. So I think that was like in 2024. And we just had like such clear vision and clarity for like the next 2 years that just allow you to like just keep going at it every single day, you know? So just having that clear mindset, clear clarity is very important. And you won't have that if everything around you is like chaos, right? Yeah. Like I mean, something I tell my team every single day too, like bring things up to me, sure, but you're like, you guys like in the leadership team, I'm the only person who's working on growth. Like I'm the only person who's responsible to grow the agency. Right? We got like the whole team, 21 of you, to basically handle the fulfillment, right? And if you can't figure out, you have to go to me. Like that's a problem. Like I of you can really figure something out, and that doesn't have to go to me, right? So try your best to minimize my decision making every single day. Solve the problem on your own, right? And there's a rule that we implement called the 1-3-1 rule. Like every problem you bring up, you need to give me 3 suggestions on like what you think is best, and then give me 1 recommendation. I'm not making any decision for you. All I'm gonna tell you is that's a good choice. Move forward. Like I'm gonna be the person who give you like the second, sort of like a second pair of eyes, really, right? But I'm not making a decision for you. Right? Make your own decisions. I need to be focused on growing the business, and you guys can handle the back end yourself.
Brilliant, man. I love that. This is super brilliant because I really think about you really, you help this with self responsibility, right? That people just really understand, hey, look, I cannot just always go to, hey boss, how can I do that, right? And instead of that, you say, no, bring me like 3, like you really teach them to handle problems by themselves, which basically like, and I think that's a massive thing in agencies that the owner is always the one that is putting fires. And in your case, you find a very good solution. And I think that's maybe also one of the reasons why you are successful and having the clarity, because if you educate people to basically become self-responsive, that's one of the most powerful things that you can do, specifically also for your peace of mind, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you have to do with A players, right? Like everyone love hiring A players. And I'll tell you right now that someone in your agency is probably an A player. You're not allowing them to become an A player. All right. So that's what it is. Right? I encourage my team to like, hey, like look, like if you literally cannot figure it out, sure, go talk to your direct report, right? Leadership team, you really can figure it out, go talk to me. Or if you need like a second confirmation, come to me, but don't come to me with a problem, right? Don't come to me. In the past, we used to have like people come to us all the time. They're like, oh, this guy want to go on PTO next Friday. What do you think? And I was like, what do you think? It's like your team member want to go on leaves and you're going to come bother me because you want to see if you could let them go on leave. I don't know what to tell you. I need to focus on something more important, right? So you make the call, make the choice, right? Like what's the end of, like you make the wrong choice, what is the end of the world, you know? So.
I love it. So you basically also almost like allowing a failed culture. Say like, okay, make a mistake. It's not the end of the world. It's okay, but take over responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. I think very interesting thing because I've been talking to a lot of founders about like team culture and everything. Most of them say that accountability is like one of the most important things that you need to have for your team, right? The team need to be accountable for like literally everything, right? And they need to be in an environment they can be accountable for their work, right? So that might sound complicated, but the type of culture that we have in an agency is, yeah, you're right. We don't punish people for their mistakes, right? I tell people all the time, if you fuck up, right, I would have no issue with you. You would never have an issue with us if you like mess anything up. I will have an issue with you if you mess something up and you don't tell us.
Yeah.
Right? If you mess something up, you have to tell your direct report. If you mess something up, you have to tell your client, right? And you have to propose a fix. Fix it. Make the decisions and be accountable for it, right? If you make a decision that, let's say you want to like write this copy, you want to test this copy, right? That's on you. You are accountable for that action. And if it fails, that is 100% fine, but you have to be accountable for that action. Like you have to figure out a fix. You have to tell the clients, you have to tell us, and you have to like own up to it. You got to tell us like literally word to word, like, hey, Wesley, I messed up. Right? Can you help me? Right. And that's when we come in and we help you fix the issue. Right. But we don't punish people for like all the kind of stuff. You just have to tell us and you just have to be accountable for it. You just have to recognize that what you did was wrong. I want to do that because every time what a lot of people, what they do is they mess something up, right? And they just so tunnel vision in the sense that they don't tell anybody and they're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to fix it myself, right? But the reason for that is they don't want people to know that they mess things up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of people, they themselves trying to convince themselves like, I didn't mess up because I fixed it, right? But I want them to like literally tell themselves like, hey, I messed up. To know that they make a mistake, because most people, if they're smart enough, they will realize that the mistake they make and they won't make it again, right? They make it again, it's totally fine too, but you just have to constantly saying it out loud that, hey, I messed it up. Next time, I'll do something else better. I try the other method.
I love it, man. I think it's so great. I love everything that I understand now that your second project is about culture because that's what you live, man. This is awesome, man. This is like, I think this is something, and you know, it's a beautiful to do. Because like I think there's so many company cultures that are just fucked up, you know what I mean? And if you restructured it in such a beautiful way, I think amazing. The only thing that I really ask myself is like when you make them so self-responsive and everything, maybe one day they say like, you know what, I'm doing my own thing because I know how to do it. Like how do you keep them then with the culture or like
and that's totally fine, right? I'm happy with that, right? Again, if they want to give it a shot, totally fine. It's running an agency is not easy if they want to do it.
like, oh, and then you come back.
Like, it's like, hey man, give it a shot. If you have any questions, let me know. Not easy. I'm not gonna say anything, but give it a shot. But yes, no, 100%. And that's the reason why system is very important. And again, we're at the point where I've obsessed with system that we have like almost being figured out. Like even like we have a system for if one of the clients team members quit the company and they bring someone else on board. Like there's like a whole action item, like step what to do with that happen. Like such an edge case, right? And I think one of the most important system that we were able to figure out is what to do when someone on your team leaves for whatever reason, right? If an account manager or, you know, a strategist, let's say they are managing like 6-7 clients, right? Or like however number is, right? And they leave. What do you do? Right. That's the question to ask.
Yeah, for sure. Like what do you do?
Well, I'll give you a little sauce. For us, that's what we start to build like an program. Right? So we have like they start training talents and we really treat them like their own team, right? In case there's a position open, then we have immediately somebody who know about process, system that is well trained already. Right? Now, works for us because we're at the point where we have like 20, 30 people and we're operating at a very high scale. But obviously, if you are running an agency and you're still like having a small team, might not work for you, right? Because you don't have the budget, you don't have the client for the internship, right? So worst case scenario, you just literally have to step in yourself and do it yourself, right? But growing the agency allow us to have more fun to like build out like small system like that, right? Help you get it, right?
But you say you have 20, 30 people. Do you have an office where they all are? Or is it all remote, or is it mixed, or how do you manage it?
Everybody's remote.
All remote. Interesting. Okay. I have seen like, who was this? Papa, I think, who using this software where you have this remote office thing. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah,
It's crazy, you know.
we used to. It's fun. It's like a little Pokemon game. Where
You use as well.
yeah, you customize your characters, and every week we do like an end of the week team meeting, and people.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Okay, tell me more about this, because this is like a newest way of like basically bringing remote offices into the real world. So like, how does this work though? You can really go in their office and can see what they do and can talk to them and so.
Yeah. You can have your own like private space as well. I think some agency they even go to an extent where they like have people like stay on the platform like the whole day of the working hours, right? It's kind of like an office. Like everyone have their own cubicle, right? If you want to be fancy, you can build everyone like a little office as well. And you don't know like what the person is doing until you go inside their office. You don't know what they're talking about until you're in that little space, right? It's kind of mimic like the entire like, actual office. It's kind of fun, but we only use it for like the end of the week team meeting.
Also, okay, use it like all the time, like Papa did. Is like it was like this is crazy, bro. Oh, very funny. Okay, and what you said as well, with the interns, I mean that's a very interesting thing. It's almost like, I mean, you don't want to put like humans comparing to backup inboxes, but like you're basically ready with something breaks immediately, right? That's good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, when you think about it, when you bring on talents, there's only really two choices, right? You bring in like us who's really, really good, might have like more demands, or you bring in someone who maybe like starting out a career, someone who's junior, entry level. You train a person up, right? So what we're really doing is to find somebody who, let's say they just started out a career, they just started out like getting into like the GTM world, right? And we give them all the training, we give them all the access to like all this technology, right? They train up within like the first like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year with us, and then when a position open, it's a guarantee for them. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice, man. I like that a lot. How many of these interns you have?
We're not just one, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. Interesting. And yeah, tell me a little bit about this other project, because I mean, what I hear obviously now about how you run your culture and everything, I really love it. Like, what's the bigger?
Okay, so for agency workplaces, yeah, so we try to give out like recognition to agency with good culture, right? And the way they'll do it is we have their own team basically score their culture. So it's not like a committee. It's not like I don't know how the Oscar works, but it's not like one of those where like the agency apply and we look at their culture and we're like, good or bad, right? Like no, like we have like their own team score that, right? And if they have a good score, then we like give them like a little badge. They are sitting in a database, right? What we call is an agency workplaces index, and those are called like official official recognized agency, and they can use that for like hiring to show off like, hey, they have good culture, right? Now, once we gather the feedback from their team member, we actually send that to them as well. Not like whole name and everything, but we just send maybe like, hey, one person say this, I think it's pretty useful. You should look into it, right? To like help your team, right? We keep everything confidential, but that also allowed the agency to look more into like where they need to grow, what they need to build. And if they want to eventually like get help from us, then they can use like our own free services. Like we do like consultation, we do like free group training to help them build that agency. So if they want to do that, it's like completely like complimentary.
So this is really like a hot project, sounds like, for you, eh? A soul project.
Yeah, it really is one of those what was like passion project.
Yeah.
It's really warm. It's just really fun. see all the chaos in agency every day, and then one step away to look into like this venture that I'm looking at. I'm just see like a bunch of feedbacks from customers, like, oh man, I love the survey. It helped me build a culture. It helped me look after my people. It's very solid. We get all these like very heartwarming reviews, and it's like nice. It makes
I love it, man. This is so cool. Like, this is also, I had a conversation last time in my coaching call yesterday where I said, like, you know what? There's nothing more fulfilling than helping other people. Like all the other stuff, you know what I mean? Like doing this, doing big numbers, doing this, whatever. It's like a little bit of satisfaction, but you cannot compare it with really helping other people with.
Yeah, exactly. And when you help somebody, when they actually tell you, when they're like, yeah, you helped me.
Beautiful, man. I love it. And one thing what I wanted to come back, because I remembered that I really wanted to get into, because I think it's such an important part as well. You said like before, like I always just said, Napoleon always says one thing, you need one thing to succeed, and that's a burning desire. And you always had that. And that was one thing that drove all the ups and downs as well, right? This is this driver, like what we say, that some people call it the why, other people call it like a definite purpose, but it was always something that you had.
Yeah. This is something I kind of touched base earlier. So I think like at such a young age, I started to recognize that I am a very creative and also very logistical person. I took some IQ tests and it spaced all.
What do we have? 150.
I'm not gonna say on camera, but take a look. It's a little self-confident boost, right? Sometimes I take it just to make sure that
it's like when I have a bad day. Hey, bro, I'm fucking smart.
Okay, but anyway, it kind of put me a lot of like responsibility on my shoulder, right? It's a good. I don't want to say it's bad, but it's good because like in such young age, like I knew that I can accomplish a lot of things, right? Like when I got my full-time position at Apple, when I got my full-time position in other big giant corporations, like a lot of people, like actually a lot of my friends were asking me like, "Ah man, how do you feel? Like you must be like so excited, you must be like so ecstatic." Like, don't get me wrong, I was like, yeah, I'm excited, but it's like I kind of knew like I would get like I don't have that like imposter syndrome. Well, until working at Apple, and those guys really humble me, right? But I think something that I think talked to you a few times. You're like, yeah, I rarely have any imposter syndrome. Right. Yeah. Once in a while, I do need to be humbled. I like sometimes talk to like a lot of bigger agencies to like how they're doing, and I'm like, damn, I'm so humbled. I gotta stop.
Yeah.
Good balance, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like so I think at such a young age, I always it's clear to me that one day I'll be successful, it just matter what, right? And I think eventually throughout the journey, I realized that the hardest thing is not just about like how, for me at least, the hardest thing is not about like the imposter syndrome, but it's more about like the consistency, right? It's about grind, putting in the work days in, days out, days in, days out. Now, one thing that I tell myself all the time is I always tell myself, God created his strongest soldier so he can take care of others, right? And for me, I am the strongest soldier, right? And my purpose is to take care of my team. My purpose is to make sure that my family is in a good spot, my parents, my fiance's parents, and later on my family as well, right? So I think that's my purpose in life. Every day, right, I do a quick prayer. It's like, God, I'm not going to ask you for anything much. Just give me enough energy to go through it. Like that's all. Just give me enough energy so I can take care of my people. That's all I'm asking for, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love your purpose in this case, and it's just in the end, the agency is more like a vehicle for your purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great, man. It's great to get to know you in such a way. Like I'm enjoying this a lot now. This is honestly, Wesley, you're a great human being, man. I have to tell you that. It's really impressive to me, man.
I try. I appreciate it.
And you're very humble, yeah. Awesome, man. Okay. Yeah, one more question, because obviously, if people don't know, but Wesley also went through my program, Limitless Wired, and I'm obviously quite interested, like, especially somebody like you that already is so smart, right? And is already great with his mindset and everything. Like, what did the Limitless Wired bring to you? What did you learn from it?
I think that's helped me with a lot of stuff, right? So I think the first thing it helped me was, even though I think I am at a very such like what is it called, like like a high operational state. Right? I'm a very high functional person. Right? I'm always just dive into the chaos all the day, every time, every day. I mean, there's some days like hot, right? Some days it's not every day is a good day. I think everywhere else that some week just like other shit, and you're just like, man, I to be positive, right? Because can't let that affect me. So I think in a way it helped me a lot, right? Honestly, your content is like really, really good at, right? It helped me like really. There's like a lot of little things when it comes to like finding your purpose, right? You know, like your mental state, your all kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of things that I honestly haven't learned. I don't know if I can share like the in the course, but
Of course, you go for it.
okay, cool. So the thing that I really like about your course is like just learning how to forgive other people. And I think like that basically stuck with me all the time. It's like, man, like all these people that have been like wrong me all the time, right? But like they've been like living in my head rent free. And I think after I took that lesson, I was like, yeah, you know what? Forgive them. It's fine. It's cool. No problem. Stop bothering me. So I think that's one of the good thing that I from Luxor. There's a lot more too, but maybe I had spilled the beans so much. I think just being able to connect to other people as well is really helpful. I think to me, one thing that I coach my leadership team is like you actually get a lot better from helping other people, right?
Yeah,
Because you see from a third person point of view, right? Like think like your friend, for example, right? Like I'm sure you have some of these friends, and I have a lot of these friends too, where they complain about, you know, like, ah, man, you know, I'm struggling financially all the time, right? But they don't want to apply for a better job. They don't. We got a friends who like, I don't know, okay, hopefully they're not listening to this, but when they went to such like prestige university, they got such a prestige degree, and now they they work as a cashier at freaking Starbucks, right? I'm just kind of like, bro, like, what are you doing? But you're such a smart person, right? And you're complaining about like, yeah, finance and life quality all the time. It's like, what do you think I'm gonna tell you? Go apply to the job that you got the degree on. Like that's an obvious thing to do. Right? It's just like, yeah, but I don't have time. It's like, you have time. You fucking just went to Japan like last month. You had time to travel. Go apply for a better job, right?
Yeah.
To give them benefit of a doubt, like you're not see, like if you're in their position, you might not be able to see what in front of you, right? But from a third party perspective, when you help other people, you can learn a lot of things too. And I think being in the program, although I am operating at such like a high state, just being able to talk to the people, seeing the situation, helping them out, you know, talk to them on the individual levels. I think that has been like really helping me tremendously, like locking in my mental state to make sure that I can operate efficiently like every single day, you know, at work.
Love it, man. Thanks for sharing, bro. Beautiful. Well, you see, guys, so even people like Wesley at such a high standard get a lot out of my program. So if you think you're making too much money for the program, think again. Awesome, man. Okay, great. One thing that I'm interested in is like, because you said before, you have this vision, like how basically, like, because you know there's a lot of time in the companies they have this kind. Do you have like a company vision? Do you have a mission? Do you have this all these dialed in for Cymate?
Yeah. Company, we have like our own like mission statement, core pillars. Like, hey, this is the important pillars that we feel like that we are actually going to score you on. Like at the end of every quarter, we are going to give you like an assessment on your skill set, like how you're doing, right, your skill, to see whether or not like you're ready for the next level, or what areas you need help with. Whole purpose is just to make sure that, you know, like we can help you get to the next stage, help you grow, right? But on the other hand, we also give you your culture score as well. And I tell people this like all the time. It's like, look, if we're going to let you go for whatever reason, it's not because of like the score, it's because of the culture score, right? So you better like step it up, right? And if you don't think you're at the right place, let us know, right? We're doing you a disservice if you don't think this is a good workplace for you, right? So yeah.
That's great, man. I like this a lot because I think also like this comes so much from really like having a vision, a mission. Like what's like, you know, like there's always I know it's a very a question that always comes, but like what's your star? If you would say what is that is really your absolute North Star?
What's my North Star? With the agency?
Yeah.
It's a good question because my North Star has changed from like years over the years. I think my North Stars used to be like the new metrics, all that kind of stuff, right? Although it's still like one of our goal, our vision. I think my North Star right now is a little bit different. I think my North Star right now is just to get the agency to to sum it up, to a place where I can sleep at night, to a place where people are happy, to a place where we don't have to worry about like if the next month and we lose like 10 clients, for example, that we're not like, oh my God, like what do I do now? Right. I think we're getting very, very close. Right. I think with the we're working on the vision, the goal, like we'll get to that shortly. But to sum it up, I think the North Star for me has like when we started out the agency, it's always been like revenue.
Of course, yeah.
You feel like it's like 100K a month, which is good goals. Don't get me wrong. Like you need to have like the revenue goal as well. But beyond that, to me, it's just like being able to operate every day, like my team enjoy the workplace. I want to look into that so that, it stress me out less. I don't have to worry about revenue as much. I don't have to worry about like when's the next payroll coming in, right? Just be able to run without worrying about like the revenue, the profit metrics.
So more really like the bigger goal, the North Star is almost like peace of mind.
Yeah, I think there you go. Yeah, that is.
Right, cool. So I think I read this quite well. Interesting, man. Okay, yeah, I mean, to come to a little bit to a closing, like what I love to understand those, and I think what a lot of people obviously that are listening now and watching right now would like to know, like if somebody starts out right now, Wesley, what would you give an advice?
If somebody was to start right now, there's a lot of advices.
We have time, so just say you have another call. It's all right.
All right, let me take out my list and we'll go. So, I actually, man, there's just so many advices. I don't know. Okay, I'll give you two.
All right.
One thing that I heard recently on like one of those, I want to bring rotting to like YouTube short, one of the clips, and
You have time for that.
yeah, let me go make to you to TikTok pretty quick. I forgot what they say exactly, but it's like, so like, I'll say like, don't chase, I guess, like money as much. It will come to you, right? And I think so far that has been the case, folks. Right? Even though we do have like a revenue goal, right? So I just want to reiterate that, like, you need to have like maybe like a revenue goal, profit goal, people goal, growth goal, number of customer goals. But I would say like, don't let that be like your number one focus, right? It will come to you eventually, right? So if you're constantly worrying about like, oh man, next month I want it to be, or like next year I want it to be like hitting like 100K a month, and if that doesn't happen, like I'm gonna die or I'm gonna quit, whatever, right? Like if you're constantly operating in that mindset, then like I don't, it'll be a fun journey for you, right? But I would also say, I guess the bigger advice I want to give you is on the flip side, right? You have to make sure that you are in a very good state as well, right? And when I say state, there are, I guess, like 4 things that I like to kind of think on a daily basis. So the first one is physical, second one is mental, third is spiritual, and then fourth is financial, right? So physical, mental, spiritual, and also financial, right? You don't have to be a millionaire, right? But at the very least, like, let's talk about, like finance first. Like finance, like, are you in a good spot for the next 2-3 years to come? Like forever, right? When I started the agency, like I saved so much that I was like telling myself, man, like if something were to happen, I can probably move back to like Southeast Asia somewhere and retire for the rest of my life with just my saving, and I should.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
From your corporate jobs that you had, or they?
Exactly.
Okay.
Think Southeast Asia is cheap, right? So to me, that has been like the way I operated, right? If all things fail, I can just always move back to Southeast Asia, right? And that's the number of the world for me, right? All the saving, I'll be fine, right? So financially, I was checked out, right? Physically, like I gym every day. That's my non-negotiable. Every single day in the morning, 1 hour at the gym. That's it. Like cannot skip, right? Well, except for one rest day, So physical, mentally as well, right? I'm pretty happy with like my relationship, with like where I'm at, all that kind of stuff, right? And then spiritually is something I'm still trying to love, right? But I think once you have like all that 4 stays sort of like figure out, then I think like you can just go ham on your business. There's no much worry that you need to be thinking about like how self work, right? So that's going to allow you to be operating at your max capacity.
So you obviously say the same thing what I always said, everything starts with you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? If you're like, your business is a direct reflection of you, have yourself dialed in and your business is following automatically.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome, man.
Say it better than me. I went Circle and I was like, how do you say it? I like the shortest one.
Yeah, bro, that's my job, right?
Also, he's my coach, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, exactly. Wesley can still learn from me. Like, that's great, man. Awesome, man. All right. Okay. And brings me to my last question, Wesley. And it's always a question that I ask. And it's really like, because the last question was real about like, okay, what would you give others advice to? But let's say like, if you look back when you started out the agency, okay, and you could give yourself, let's say, 3 advices, what would you give yourself on advice?
You say 3 advices. I wrote it down somewhere. Can I look for it?
Yeah, of course, go on. I'm sure the audience is
Hey.
very curious about it, so go on for it. Let's look for it.
I wrote down somewhere. Like I have like a list of like stuff that I write down too. And there's one thing. I think it's from Mosey, I believe. Anyways, I'll just freestyle it. I think
Okay.
God, I'm trying to, if I don't quote this correctly, I think I'm gonna redirect this to Alex Mosey because it's a very, very good quote that lives in my head like every single day. And I know that exact word to word. I think if you want to, just look up Jack new podcast with Alex Mosey, and this is the very last question that he asked Mosey as well. And I want to just rephrase that.
Okay.
I think it was something like believe in yourself, ignore the opinions of others, and do so much volume that is impossible to fail.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then I think I added one last point, which is believe in God, right? That
beautiful.
He will help you find your purpose. He will get you to the place that you want to be, right? And if things don't work out, that's what it's meant to be. Just trust that God had good plans for you.
I love it, man. Being God's strong soldier.
Yeah, there you go.
Brought it again to the point, right?
Right. There you go. Yeah, remember that, right? I think that's something, I don't know if I read it somewhere, but I just think God created his strong soldier so he can take care of others, right? So don't focus so much on yourself. Don't try to get yourself to be rich, get to another stage, I don't know the case about, right? But look out for your team, look out for everyone else around.
Beautiful, man. That was a beautiful last sentence. Okay. I mean, Wesley, thank you so much for joining this podcast. I believe there was massive value for the audience. And for me, it was awesome to get to know you from that side because, you know, normally you always just had like 15, 20 minutes. This time I got you for an hour, which was awesome. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Of course, it's been fun. It's been fun. Thanks for having me.
Okay. All right, guys. So thank you very much for joining. So the podcast is also starting now on Spotify and Apple actually this week. So if you want to join and watch it there or listening, not watch it, but listening there, you're more than welcome. And also I'm going to really go back massive on YouTube again. There will be again twice a week. There's once a podcast, and then the other thing is always raw and scripted. So I'm going all back in YouTube because I was a little bit quiet for the last 3 weeks, but I'm all back in right now. And yeah, I see you in my next video. Thank you so much for joining. And if you like that stuff, guys, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Take care.